Co-main event, Charles Oliveira, Tony Ferguson. How long are we going to pretend that I wasn't on the Charlie Bronx train for quite some time now? I've been sucking that dude off at lightweight for a long fucking time. He's so dangerous. He's been a vet for a long time. He's fought a lot of good guys. Now, he's never got over that hump. Usually when he fights the top of the spear, upper echelon guys, you know, we've seen early in his career, as Jim pointed out last week, he did quit at one point. But also, you're talking about the guy who's the most submissions ever in the UFC history. He's a finisher, and his striking has finally caught up with him. And you put those two together, mix him with his experience, and it's the perfect storm. Now, if you go back to last week, the Coast to Coast with Luke Thomas, we had a lot of questions going this fight. Is Charles Oliveira that good? Is Tony Ferguson kind of at the tail end of his career? Did that Justin Gaethje fight take it all out of him? Tony Ferguson has a new camp. What Tony are we going to get? And I don't think it's as black and white as you can say Charles Oliveira is the man and Tony Ferguson is diminishing. I don't think you can do that. I think it's a combination of those. I think Charles Oliveira, the Bronx, is finally come into his own. He's championship quality. He's championship material. He should fight the winner of Conor versus Dustin Poirier, or give him another big fight. If you want to give him Gaethje, I'll take that too. I do think he matches up well with Gaethje, and we'll get to that. So I think Charles Oliveira is coming into his own, and he's an absolute monster. And what was alarming to me, and you don't hear a lot of guys say this, in the pre-fight interviews, he goes, I'm going to run through this dude. Again, I'm going to run through Tony Ferguson. Everyone's like, dude, run through him. Jesus Christ, take it easy. He ran through his ass. Yeah. He fucking steamrolled him. This wasn't a fight in any facet from the beginning to the end. This was a straight up manhandling, a fucking bully beatdown. I gave 2 of the 3 rounds 10-8. If you want to give all 3 10-8, if you want to give one a 10-7, we could do that. It was an absolute annihilation. He just outclassed Tony in every facet. The real key to me where I knew Tony was in trouble was the takedowns. When Charles Oliveira is slamming him to the mat with Tony Ferguson's background in wrestling, you know, that's just a sheer sign that, you know, Tony just, it's not the old Tony. It's just not the old Tony. And it's such a fucking shame if you're a Tony Ferguson fan, because he had he won 12 in a row. He's had such a great career. He never got that big fight. That big fight never came. It was like 2 ships passing in the night, and they'd get close and the other ship would turn around. You know, something would always happen. So Tony never got that marquee fight he's been wanting and fucking always asking for. The UFC should just never give it to him. They tried 5 times with Khabib. They tried 5 times. And after watching what Charles Oliveira did, after watching what Justin Gaethje did, thank God Tony and Khabib never fought. Khabib would have beat the shit out of him. If Charles Oliveira can do that on the ground, Khabib could definitely do that on the ground. And if Charles Oliveira is taking you down, Khabib's going to take you down. So I think those questions are answered. I don't think there's anyone now going, man, what would have happened? I still want to see that fight. Besides Tony Ferguson's family, I don't think anybody out there is asking to see that Khabib fight anymore. I don't think Khabib wants to see that fight anymore. I thought maybe if Tony won this fight and then won another one, he could drag Khabib out of retirement, but that's just not happening anymore. So, for Tony, it's a bit of a rough road, because where does he go from here, right? You win 12 in a row. You've won 12 out of your last 14. Your last 2, it's not only that you just didn't lose, you know? It's not like you just lost and you can see like, all right, man, if he just fixes this, we're right back on the title path. He got dominated, absolutely, completely dominated. And the alarming thing to me too, and a lot of analysts pointed this out for a while now, and I don't know if I agree with it completely, but it's the Tony Ferguson fundamentals as far as on the ground, off his back, the right techniques, his striking's unconventional, his training's unconventional. When you're 12-0, no one's going to question it. Nobody in the world is going to question it. And also, he didn't have to rely on his fundamentals because he was getting by with doing this weird shit that we all bought into. But when that doesn't work, oh my God, does it not work? You know, when Charles Oliveira took him down and went to mount, and Tony's not shrimping out, he's not doing the proper things that you learn, week 2 in a jiu-jitsu class, It's a little alarming. So the point is, if he struggled with that with Charles Oliveira, Khabib would have ate him alive, man. He wouldn't have made it out of that round. And hats off to Tony Ferguson because, A, you got to be tough and you got to be crazy not to tap to the armbar. Those are the two things. Tough, crazy. Listen, I don't want to. The rehab that's going to have to happen on that arm, I don't know exactly what happened. Guarantee you some ligaments were snapped. Guarantee you some ligaments and bones were stretched to the max. After that, we really didn't see him throw that arm. Was it his left arm, Chin? Mm-hmm. It was his left arm. So, I think that compromised him. It's just the Charles Oliveira, the Bronx time. And it's well documented. Go back and listen. I've been riding this Brazilian nutsack for quite some time. And it's for this exact reason, man. For this exact fucking reason. So for Tony Ferguson, I got to be honest, I worry about him with his personal life, with some other stuff going on with him outside the octagon. It's 2 in a row. He's a guy who dictates when he trains, what he's going to train. That really doesn't work at this level. It really doesn't. It worked for him. Tony can say it did work, bitch. You're right. You're 12 out of your last 14. But when it doesn't work, my God, does it not work. And it worked when you had Eddie Bravo and Rashad Holloway and that crew. And maybe they knew how to kind of dictate what you do, even though you thought you were calling the shots. They were good at that and kind of getting the camp a little organized.
Oh, well, there you go.
I'll text Eddie. See what he says. But it's a little red flag. Now that Figueiredo is the face of the flyweight division, there is those kind of consequences because he hits like a goddamn Mack truck and he goes for broke in every fight. And I think he's the perfect gentleman for the division to salvage the division. And, I didn't give Brandon Moreno much of a chance coming into the fight. Knew he's tough. My entire family is rooting for him at the house because he's Mexican. They were only speaking Spanish in the fucking house. They were doing these weird chants. There's flaming hot Cheetos all over the place. Everyone was crunk as shit when he was fighting. And I did find myself rooting for him as well. I'm a huge fan of him now. What a stud. What a stud. We'll just jump the main event off the fucking bat here because that fight, by far, hands down, not even close, the best fight in the flyweight division. Dana said that as soon as the fight was over. Couldn't agree more. I was texting my brother. He's watching at our friend Joe Kloppenstein's house, and he goes, "How do you have it?" And I said, "I have it a draw." He goes, "No, not a draw. Figueiredo won." I went, in what sense would Figueiredo have won that fight? I give Figueiredo the first round, and I give Figueiredo the 5th round. 1 and 5, he won. 2 and 4, your boy Brandon won. And then 3 was obviously a 9-9 round. So I have it a draw. I have no issue. I think that ref, what's his name? Herzog?
Yeah, Jason Herzog.
Jason Herzog was my first ref when I fought in the UFC. He was my very first ref ever. When I fought Chase Gormley in Broomfield, Colorado. So I love that guy. He's one of the best refs we have. But, I think I found myself rooting for Brandon Moreno more as the fight went on because Figueiredo, with the eye pokes, I was like, come on, dude. Then twice, like, dude, how long are we going to do this? And then when he hit him in the nuts and it was a bad nut shot, it was just like, I was more annoyed because you don't want to see that in a title fight. You don't want to see that stuff. So I think them taking away a point with a nut kick is completely valid. I wish refs would do it more because it does dictate and change kind of the path of a fight. Now, in this fight, there's no argument that the nut kick changed the direction of the fight. But we don't know. But we do know Figueiredo, he's not known as a cardio machine. It did give him a longer rest. So I don't know. We don't know. But what we do know is 2 eye pokes and a nut kick. We can't have it. I think anytime there's a accidental or intentional nut kick, there should be a point taken away. Anytime there's a bad eye gouge, there should be a point taken away. I think there should be 0 tolerance in any facet with eye pokes or nut kicks at all. I don't like when guys get poked in the eye and they can barely see, and then they give them 5 minutes, which no one ever takes. So they feel pressure from the crowd. Even though there's no crowd there, there's still people there. But when there is crowds, they feel pressure. They don't want to hold up the fight, so they go back. They're compromised. It's a little blurry. You're compromising the fighter, so there should be a point taken away. every single time. So when Jason Herzog did that, I'm like, hell yeah. So you get a draw, and I'm completely fine with it. And all you guys should be too. Are you telling me you don't want to see that fight again? Sign me up. I'll watch those guys fight every fucking Saturday. That's how good of a fight that was. And for me to say that, the flyweight division is insane because I'm a sizist and I don't enjoy the smaller weights. I'll just put it out there right now. I don't enjoy the real small ones. 135 is fucking stacked. I enjoy that. 145, filthy. 55, my fave. And then all the way up, you can keep going. But below 135, it's tough for me, man. I'm a big fucking dude. My son's the size of those guys, and he's 4. And he's 50 pounds away from those guys. So it's hard for me to care as much as I do with the other fights. But Figueiredo, you got me, man. The God of War, you fucking did it. Those guys should have got all the money, every bit of the money. I do think it was a plus, them fighting 3 weeks ago with the weight cut for Figueiredo. I know the weight cut's a motherfucker for him. I think it's only a matter of time before he moves up weight classes. But I think he has 2 more fights at flyweight before he goes up. I really do. I think that weight cut's really taking a toll on him. And he was in the hospital the night before. Mm-hmm. So I would probably chalk it up to the weight cut. He's such a big dude. When you are weight cutting, your immune system's down, so there's a lot going on there. I don't know how long he's going to put his body through that. I just don't.
He looks so much bigger than freaking Moreno.
Dude, he is Jack City.
Yeah, giant.
Jack City. So I can't say enough about this fight. I was on the edge of my seat, man. The entire fight, I'm yelling. My kids are asleep upstairs. I'm balls deep in whiskey. My freaking Mexican family's chanting in Spanish. I'm trying to do it with them. We're all crunk as shit. The only thing we didn't have was a Mexican flag wrapped around my fucking girl. It was fantastic, man. Fantastic. Those boys can fight every goddamn Saturday, and you can take my money. To me, by far, top to bottom, best fight card